A New Way is set in the early 80s, 80, 81 thereabouts, and it concerns three IRA lads who have just returned from some kind of botched mission. One of them's dead, one of them's dying, and the other one is, you get the feeling, responsible for the whole thing.
I didn't know much about the 80s at all, but it was quite nice because I was able to go and talk to older relatives and talk to older friends and even just people that I had met while prop shopping. Researching the punts was a really nice surprise. So the one that I found was actually my great uncle's, and he had a collection, so I scanned them and I sent them off to a graphic designer. It was definitely a pleasant surprise how, when it got back to me, how realistic it looked. And it was kind of scary how easy it was to remake money and print it out in stacks.
So the idea with this one was to do something elegiac, something that had a lot of weight, and was an exhale to some off-screen crisis that these lads had gone through. So when you're working to a music cue, it allows you to home in on moments that you might otherwise, brush over. So the basic action of this video is real simple. It's just two guys taking a box of guns into a house, but when you stretch it out and focus in with the music carrying you through it, it gives it a gravitas and it gives it a weight, and it's almost dreamlike, which is a real benefit of working to a great cue.
The treatment's read as kind of slow burning treatments, and music videos, you are restricted to the amount of time you have in the song. So that leads you to kind of two questions: is okay, how much are we actually going to get into the song? And number two, how are we going to work that around the slow motion section, because everything you do is now twice the length. Now, having seen it, actually, the slowness of the narrative actually works beautifully with the music, which is exactly what it needed to do. But I was conscious approaching that adding movement into each of these shots would give it that kind of flow or that sense of constantly moving forward that sometimes slow motion static frames can do.
Well, the big thing is just like the costume right and getting at the sort of, again, you're going back to the 80s, so there's a look and stuff you have to kind of consider, and there's an attitude, I think, that goes along with it, so all that kind of stuff, trying to get in that HBH.
Yeah. As soon as I read the concept of the video, I just knew, and with Patrick and Tommy shooting it, I just knew it would be something I wanted to be a part of, because I knew it would look great and would be interesting to shoot. But in terms of the roles, you can't really prepare too much for the roles. You just kind of get yourself ready, get the costume ready, turn up and let Patrick and Tommy tell you where to stand and how to look and you'll be safe then.
You really have to build up a good relationship with actors, because when you work with an actress or an actor for the first time, there is a responsibility on you as a cinematographer to capture them in a way that is A, aesthetically pleasing for them, but then B, also suits what they're trying to do within the scene.
Sam has a great physicality that really adds to the weight of the situation, and Tommy's the type of actor who you want to put him in close up the whole time. He's just got a great face and is very, very watchable. They got it real quick, and I didn't have to say much to them during it, just make them feel comfy and let them off the leash. I think we are carried by the talent of Tommy Harrison and Sam Monaghan in this one.
A New Way kind of anchors itself around that vehicle, because that's where the actors begin. That's where the trunk comes from the car, and we never really leave the side of the car for that whole thing.
It was such a specific car that we were looking for to suit the characters and also to suit the color scheme and the time period. There was a lot of specifics that we had to match, and there was a few options. There was a Morris Minor, but we weren't too happy with the color scheme of that, and I think the shape of it as well just didn't suit the characters. But then I don't know how, but we got our hands on a Magnum coupe, and just the color of it was just gorgeous.
I always try and put a lot of thought into the ending shots of the music videos. I think what you're aiming for is a summation of the whole video in the final shot, if you can. And with this one, with A New Way, what I really wanted to do was I wanted it to look like an album cover at the end. I wanted it to be almost a still shot. And Lauren did such a good design job on the whole video that it afforded us the opportunity to do that, just to sit with it a little bit. And that final image of them just defeated, two of them dead, and one of them just with the weight of it all on it. It also happens to have the colours of the Irish flag in the background, which was not by design, but you know, sometimes you get lucky with these things.